the fact that there really is no commitment or covenant. He's already broken it. I really feel like I was emotionally abandoned by him many, many years ago, well before the catfishing.
I don't really consider myself married to Mary. If she wanted to move on and marry another, she wouldn't get an argument with me.
That was pretty insulting and pretty vulgar for him to just be open.
Hello, guys, it's Selena. Welcome to TLC Flix. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Sister Wives season concluded last night, but there will be a part 4 tell-all with 4 more episodes airing in the upcoming week. It's the season finale, I suppose. However, there are a ton of other topics we will cover. Additionally, I found that the episode had a few really intriguing parts, most of which had to do with Mary, Robin, and Cody. However, Janelle and Christine also had a lengthy conversation regarding their ties, the reason behind Christine's departure, and what Christine told her brothers before leaving. And before we move on to the Robin-related topics, which will be discussed later, I just wanted to briefly remark on this portion of the show. But in the show from last night, Mary Brown found her groove again. And Mary, has been through a lot. On Sister Wives, all 18 seasons, she and Cody had been estranged for a very long time. She has also been unfairly blamed for the family's problems when, in reality, Cody is the one who has to be held accountable. Additionally, she discussed her chat with Cody in this episode, and that's when they finally realized that they would no longer be together. And of course, he wanted things to stay that way. However, season 17 debuted during these talks, and she saw Cody in public for the first time with the premiere of season 7 Adolescence. I no longer think of Mary and me as married. However, he had never had that private talk with her. She also referred to that as vulgar. She referred to it as an emotional desertion and a breach of the covenant. And it seemed that she required that in order to go on. As spectators, we have a lot of freedom to express ourselves, but it can be difficult for us to understand their dynamics. However, since Cody is provoking her in a confessional and on a couch, reality television does undoubtedly contribute to this element. It would be quite embarrassing if I were her to have to listen to him say it. So let's begin discussing the topic. I will admit that I appreciate how Cody's hypocrisy is being shown by the show's editors this season. If Robin is correct, when Christine decided to leave, she did not go through the church. Instead, they made a big deal out of the fact that she had to go through the church to obtain a release, then undergo counseling, file numerous forms, and even then she wouldn't be deemed truly free until she had an affair. Cody concurred, expressing disapproval with the notion that she might unilaterally declare her divorce. While all of this was going on, Cody made the decision to acquire a release and elected not to inform Mary or the appropriate authorities. He also chose not to speak with anyone at the church. We wanted Christine to make a release, but he was free to stop if he decided to part ways with Mary. In my opinion, this at least exposes Cody's hypocrisy. I wanted this for Christine, but not for Mary. Correct? It's analogous to telling someone you're not faithful to Christine. However, Mary, despite her extreme loyalty, is also unsatisfactory to Cody. Thus, Mary is loyal and Christine is not. Christine's lack of loyalty is the issue in the marriage. What if Mary demands respect and loyalty, and Mary grants them both? That would be Mary's marital dilemma. That was, however, really the start of it. Her awakening, all right, he heard her say it on the broadcast, and it's very interesting. Furthermore, Christine didn't use a lot of overlay speaking, which is something I really liked because it kept the voices of Mary, Robin, and Cody separate from their chats. Really, it was simply the individuals present. But I did want to relay something Christine said about Robin. This is the situation that Christine was having difficulty with Cody and expressed that she could not marry Mary. Mary tried to console her by telling her to consider the larger picture, the wider picture, and to take a look at the mountains. And I realized that was her point of view. However, she didn't make Christine feel bad about leaving as she was leaving, nor did she suggest that Christine stay. She wasn't necessarily in agreement or comprehension. However, she did not try to convince her to stay for year after year. Christine did, after all, give Mary advice on Cody. Additionally, Mary would frequently advise Christine things like, "You just need to work on yourself, not worry about what he thinks, look inside yourself, and you can't control him, you'll never be able to control him. And just be sweet, However, in terms of forcing someone to stay, I don't think any of the original 3 ever said that someone was compelled to go. Those 3, in my opinion, had the notion that sure, this is a decision that each of us has taken. They allowed each other the flexibility to go, though, if that was their desire. Regarding Mary and Robin, Robin never showed any support for anyone quitting the family, no matter how dire the situation became. However, Robin would say things like, "I have a deal with Cody that I can leave if things go wrong and we fall out of love." Robin then made Cody sign an agreement with her saying that they could break off relations at any time. However, Robin didn't back Mary's decision to leave when she was being mistreated and instead encouraged her to make a total change. She also watched her pals, quote-unquote, stay in a dreadful circumstance, which is obviously not what a friend would do. It makes sense that a friend would want their companion to be happy. Christine then says, I'm offended that Cody made her feel like this. However, I'm also just as repulsed by Robin's comments about staying with him. You should be a member of the family, I hope. After they had discussed what they were going to do, she was fully aware that Mary's needs weren't being addressed. For example, what will Mary do? She discovers that Cody has stated that he no longer wants to be married to her. Robin gets reprimanded by Christine for pulling Mary along. After that, the scene switches to Christine Janelle hiking with her brothers in Idaho. And Cody, the narcissistic researcher, thinks that Janelle and Christine's friendship with him is simply because they despise him. Christine and Janelle are trekking with her brothers, sister-in-law, sister-in-law's mother, and their nephews right now in Idaho. Furthermore, Cody believes that their dislike of Robin and Cody is the only thing holding the two of them together. The fact that their relationship is suddenly less hostile surprises him. For all we know, you might not be in the photo, Cody. They say that their children grew up together, which is why they have remained in touch. They were quite dependent on one another, and Christine frequently expressed how supportive Janelle was of her choice to leave and how helpful she had been to her in the lead-up to her departure. And that as they grew closer through COVID, they were able to confide in one another and talk about their experiences. They discovered they genuinely liked each other when they eliminated Cody's influence from their relationship. They simply weren't as close because of the marriage, not because they didn't like one another before. You are going to be hostile when you share a spouse. Furthermore, it appears as though Cody was the one who incited conflict by setting the women against one another. However, it is more likely that they are devoted to their family and that during the breakup, they realized that their definition of family wasn't necessarily Cody, but rather the other sister wife or the other sister wives, kids, and the fact that they are both close to each other's children, rather than the mere fact that they share a common enemy as the only reason doubtful. Why then would they wish to stay out of the lives of the other kids, once you've got the majority of Channel's children? Naturally, Janelle will look at Christine and say, yeah, I want my kids to have Christine in their lives, since she is a mother. Yes, people can now express their sympathy. However, their chemistry isn't what binds them together spiritually. Likewise, Cody and Robin share a common animosity towards Christine and Janelle. Is he really simply letting it all hang out on himself, then? They took a break from their hike to rest. They then got to chatting about Levy's mother-in-law returning to school to get her degree. She is also pursuing this degree virtually. They then got into a lengthy conversation about food storage and the end of the world when they started talking about Janelle returning to school. And Christine mentioned how, as a child, the Apostolic United Brethren church members were informed that the world was about to end and that their prophets would prophesy this. They informed women that all they had to do to ensure the end of the world was to get married and start a family. That was it. The world is ending, so don't go to college or obtain a degree. According to her brother, this prophecy was constantly applied. Thus, whenever a natural disaster occurred, such as a flood or hurricane, the church would interpret it as evidence that the world was ending. You see, you can't just keep doing things like not going to college, following the rules, and getting ready for the end of the world. And they got to talking about how they become preppers as a result of this preparation. It's fascinating that they're finally having this conversation because after preaching about food storage for years, they never gave an explanation. Eventually, after they disclosed that they were preparing for the end of the world and for food because they were hearing prophecies and the times were changing, we find out. They divulged that not only were they preppers, but Christine and Janelle were also interested in having an adequate food supply. As a result, it appears that they would purchase large quantities of goods in bulk over an extended period of time. The food store was located at Christine's homes in Vegas and Flagstaff. However, Christine left her prepper life behind when she decided to quit the church, the Fundamentalist Church, and the LDS Church. As a result, she no longer believes in the church and no longer prepares. Janelle claimed to still be prepared for COVID-19 and to have ample toilet paper on hand. That being said, Cody goes on to add that he stores their food in a facility. For example, why is there not enough room for him to store food in Robin's house? Robin's house was larger than everyone else's the last time I saw, and yet Robin's house, which would have space, doesn't even have the food store. Not that I'm a prepper, but Cody has such a strange set of priorities. But why would you keep your food in a storage facility if you really believe that you want to be prepared? Because in theory, you wouldn't be able to leave your home in the event of something catastrophic happening, like the detonation of an atomic bomb or a widespread pandemic. Thus, you should always have your storage close at hand when you're at home. And the fact that it is in a storage facility hurts him. Not that there's food that can be fine for a while, listen. However, items like flour and wheat have expiration dates, much like canned food. Furthermore, they aren't good forever, in my opinion. Food ultimately goes bad. Really, though, it seems like such a waste of resources that I could picture wanting some. However, they've never given an explanation for this doomsday, end of times premonition. It's simply incredibly, really normal with a baby. Thus, this is actually the first time that Christine and her brothers have discussed the motivation behind their actions. Finally, Janelle disclosed that Robin's children are not related to Cody or their children. Cody believes that they are united in their dislike of Robin and him. However, they can't stop talking about how they want the kids to get together. They would love to host a family reunion for the kids so they could all see their siblings because they want the kids to spend time together. Christine adds that with everything that has been going on, she doesn't think it will be possible. Janelle goes on to say that although the children don't talk to them, they are Miss Robin's children. Clearly, there is a significant difference now from what transpired during the text exchange. Subsequently, it's evident Christy, or I presume Robin, is informing them that these individuals are untrustworthy, malevolent, and misguided. Additionally, Cody is most likely involved in some way. Cody living with them at home all the time. They will now need to show him loyalty, and according to Cody, showing allegiance entails cutting off those who he perceives to be unfaithful. He wants everyone to respect him, and being respectful to him entails abiding by his regulations. Therefore, Robin's children will not speak to Christine's children or make denials if they are to respect Cody and follow his instructions. Children they believe to be disobedient, and at some point, their faith plays a part in it, to the point where they simply reject them. Anyone that's not obeying Cody and obeying their beliefs and the patriarchy. And the reason it's so tragic is that the adult children shouldn't have to be stuck in the midst. That's all I have right now. The main takeaway from the first part of the program, in my opinion, was Christine calling Robin out on her duplicity. When Cody uttered those awful things in public on the television, Mary knew she had to go. The Browns are also prepared. At least there were two of them, I suppose. Although Christine was, Robin and Cody might yet be wed. If you are looking for more sister wives gossip, come back to TLC Flix for all your updates. Bye bye guys.